Welcome to In the Room, where we explore the elusive world of casting for film, TV, and commercials. Join us as we interview directors, writers, producers, and actors, taking a deep dive into their experiences with casting and how the ultimate decisions are made in bringing a story to the screen. Get an inside look at casting and find out what really goes on in the room. Well, I'm Heather Kafka and I'm an actor.
I'm Christopher Shea and I'm a producer.
And welcome to a very special episode of In the Room.
Yes.
I should probably begin by saying, listener discretion advised. I would think maybe in this particular case, we might be saying the F-U-C-K word a bit more.
LDA.
Subject matter may be a bit much for sensitive ears. So if you have chillins running around, maybe don't listen to this on your Alexa or your giant speakers in the house. I don't know. But we're going to be talking about the amazingly wonderful Todd Rohal written and directed Fuck My Son, which is an X-rated descent into demented comedy and maniacal horror as a desperate mother drags an innocent stranger into an absurd, filthy nightmare beyond comprehension. An unflinchingly loyal adaptation of transgressive artist Johnny Ryan's joyfully disgusting comic book. So, first we have Todd Rohal, the amazing, and I'm going to read his bio for you. He is a writer and director whose work spans 5 feature films, numerous shorts, and multiple television episodes. His debut feature, The Guatemalan Handshake, won the Slam Dance Grand Jury Prize in 2006 and was self-distributed worldwide on a single 35mm print. He went on to direct The Cataclysm, Sundance 2011, Nature Calls, South by Southwest 2012, and Uncle Kent 2, South by Southwest Audience Award 2015. His short film Rat Pack Rat received the Sundance Special Jury Prize for Original Vision in 2014. And Rohal has directed projects for Adult Swim, MOPZ, The Suplex Duplex Complex, Hunky Boys Go Ding Dong, Netflix, Haters Back Off, and collaborated with artists like Corey Maccabee,
Great guy.
The American Astronaut, and Jeff Krulik, Heavy Metal Parking Lot. His work has appeared on Adult Swim, Netflix, Hulu, Criterion Channel, HBO, and has been selected for numerous Vimeo staff picks.
I'm so rich.
He's just incredible.
Rolling in money.
What an epic guy. And he's also brought with him.
And we are joined also by Todd's lead actor in the film, Tipper Newton. Tipper, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tipper's an American actress, filmmaker, and musician, born in Overland Park, Kansas, and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. A graduate of Columbia College Chicago with a BA in film, she's done work in many high-profile series, including her recurring role as Karen in The Mindy Project, as well as appearances in Curb Your Enthusiasm, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Guest Book, and in the indie films Uncle Kent and Uncle Kent 2.
Hey, look at you.
In 2022, her short film Wildcard, which she wrote, directed, edited, and starred in, won the Special Jury Award for Best Midnight Short at the Palm Springs International ShortFest. Although she has acted in nearly 50 projects across television, film, and streaming. Outside of acting, Newton is also a musician. She fronts the Los Angeles-based power pop band Color TV, showcasing her love for guitar-driven melodies and energetic performances. Welcome, guys, to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I held my breath through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Did ChatGPT get it right?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I usually like to do a lot of research before. I mean, I know I'm well
but I just
familiar.
told you that Tipper was in town like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tipper was very on the fence about
And we like
coming.
to test
Not
the
true.
interwebs.
Not true.
She was
This
like,
is
I
all
don't
lies.
No.
You're too much of an artist to not be here. I'll just say that out loud.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy to have you. We have so few women in the room.
I was just hanging out on your
So thank
Bandcamp
you.
last
Yes,
night for like
of course.
3 hours.
It's great.
Too.
Tipper's music is the best, and she has
I
a
love
new
it.
album that is not even out yet.
Really?
That is, it's so good. I'm
I
a huge
can't wait.
fan.
How did
Thanks,
your two
Todd.
creative paths come together? When was that? What year was that?
2006, I think. With
Yeah.
a handsome man named Joe Swanberg.
Oh,
Swanberg connection, right?
Swanberg, a former
met
guest
Joe
on the
in
show.
Chicago, and then
Yeah.
I met Joe through Chicago or through festival stuff. And at the same time.
That's where we met. It was I don't know which festival it was. Baltimore or something?
Maybe
was it?
so, yeah.
We met at a festival and then kind of kept seeing the same people as you do at the different festivals for that year.
Yeah, and Joe had a friend, Kevin Buersdorf, who was a super talented artist, and Tipper and Kevin were in this film LOL. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
And then, they were very funny together. Like, I remember, like, Kevin was very, like, his patience for Tipper at that point in time was, he had a limit. And you guys drove from Chicago to Austin. I think that's when I met you. Actually, was here.
Oh, maybe.
And then, you guys got out of the car, and I remember Kevin being like, I can't be around Tipper anymore. And he was like real grumpy and stuff. So I immediately liked both of you because it was like this Archie Bunker type relationship between you guys. And you weren't dating or anything, but it was like just that Kevin was
I was probably just blabbing away in the car like, oh, look at that cow out the window. And he was probably like, Jesus Christ.
He just came back from Berlin being an artist, and he's like, what am I doing in America with? No, he's not like that. He's
chatty Americans.
But
I haven't talked to him in years. Maybe that's why. No, we're all good. We're all good. We're all good.
He secretly hates you.
He's great. He was insanely talented, or still is, and he does music too. He's got a whole new album that he has. You guys should put them out together.
Good. Go on tour.
And Tipper, you were in a band with Joe at one point?
Yes. Joe and I had a band called the Ice Cream Floats. Yeah. But I'm not, and all the songs were about ice cream, and now I'm like, oh, too quirky. Like, not really my thing anymore.
They're all available online, though. Right?
Yeah, they are. I mean, those were like, we would get together and write a song in like 2 hours and record it, like all in one day.
Yeah.
Write the song and
love
record
that,
it.
Yeah.
though.
So it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that the music
that.
exists online for people to come across and potentially call you to say, can I just put this in this part of the movie that I'm making or something like that?
Or like it should be on Dr. Demento. Like that should have been.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of gimmicks and
We had a
novelty
few hits.
tunes.
A few hits.
Did some of them go?
Well, hits between, people we knew who liked it.
Oh, yeah.
And we did play a few birthday parties.
Really?
My birthday party and Joe's birthday party.
That's
Literally a couple.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's neat.
So, Todd, I want to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
Because your mind works in mysterious ways.
It's from abuse?
Yeah. Is it? So let's get into it. So,
Take us to the dark corners of your mind.
really,
Todd.
where were you born?
Yeah.
Where Todd Rohal is born. And then
A little baby named Todd is brought into the world.
Yeah, and then what?
Why would parents name a son Todd? This is my baby. His name is Todd.
Yeah.
Baby Todd.
I was born in Ohio. Yeah. And,
Where?
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And great town.
College town.
It is. It's like the
Go team.
Austin of Ohio, I guess.
It
but
is.
minus all the neat stuff. People love footballs, talking about passes, touchdowns, slam dunks,
Did you love
backfield
football?
motion. My dad took me to an OSU football game when I was a little kid, and I watched the band play, and they spell out Ohio and script Ohio, and they finished, and I said, great, can we go home? And we left, and I remember everyone looking at my dad like, why are you leaving? And he was like, my son wants to go home. And it was just eyes of judgment and shame on me. And I've never seen a full football game ever again since then.
Wow.
Wow.
But not out of spite, just because that was enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Triggering.
It sounds like
So-
your dad was supporting you in that moment.
Yes. He didn't make me stay. Yeah. I mean, he was probably bummed as hell. He bought tickets to the game. And this was like,
that's what you do when you're a
And he's
parent,
like,
though,
I've got
man.
a son that's,
a little bit different.
that's
Just
not
marching to
what
his own.
anyone wants.
Did you
Yeah.
have strong parental support?
They were, yes. I would say that, there's still like, I wish you would make a movie that we could watch. And they have no idea about this movie.
Spit my water out over everybody.
We actually, my mom said that in front of like, we grew up Catholic, and we saw like this priest friend, that was ever since we were little. He was a really wonderful guy that was into photography and arts and stuff like that. But my mom said to him, she's like, I really wish he would make a movie that we could watch. And our priest friend said, just let him do his own thing. And that was like the greatest. It was like, yeah, leave him alone.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
But not that my mom was being mean, but she was really wanting me to get on a Young Sheldon episode to direct that.
Oh,
she
yeah,
would love that.
because she wants to, like, show you off and be super proud of you.
Yeah.
And, like,
my son directs
tricky.
Young Sheldon, like to be able to say that is every mother's dream,
Yeah.
So she does not know about this movie at all.
At all.
So, but I think we're going to do a Mother's Day screening. We were talking about for Mother's Day, getting all of our moms together to watch it. Because I know
Really?
I've met Tipper's mom, and
Yeah.
she knows about this movie.
Yeah. She knows
And
all
she
that.
actually, can I say, she
Sure, yeah.
sings the Robert Longstreet song in the movie. The vocals are Tipper's mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She was
Yeah.
channeling.
She didn't want to be credited,
Right.
but people know it's out. Now it's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
But she was great. She channeled. What did I tell her to do? Marianne Faithfull, and she was great at it.
When you looked at Johnny Ryan's stuff in your head, or, I mean, at some point you just wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to make a movie out of this.
Yeah.
Is that something that came to you quickly? Or was it like just a giant mountain that you were like, here we go, head down, walk up that mountain?
Yeah, it was a lot of research to be like, what's the grossest, and so I just read a ton of pornography. No, this didn't come out of like I'm sorry, that's not true. Can you get it?
We don't cut anything on this show.
That may or may not be true.
So I had a friend, I have a friend named Calvin Reeder who
All his friends are dead.
and
He talks about everyone.
I know, everyone in the
past
past,
tense.
because no one wants to talk to me anymore. Yeah, I was like, Calvin, you should make a really, really, really fucked up horror movie, like because he's really good at it, and he's at a point where he's like, I don't really want to go back to the insane stuff I was doing then, and he had other ideas right now, which are all really solid, good ideas. But I was like explaining to him why I thought he should make like an X-rated insane movie. And we talked about it, and he's like, well, I got this other project, and it took off and was going. And then I had gotten a copy of Johnny Ryan's comic book, Fuck My Son, in the mail from France, because you had to order it from France,
Because it's not on sale here.
it's, like Fantagraphics is his normal publisher, and they're based out of Seattle, but they wouldn't put out anything with a title that's that extreme.
Wow.
Anything can happen in the pages, but nothing, they won't put that on the shelf because people will complain.
But they'll do it in France.
But in France, they
Just want to point that out.
Yeah, so
European America.
I ordered a copy and got that, and I was reading it, and I was like, man, I know how to make this movie, but I'm not gonna how I wouldn't do this. And then I was reading it, being like, this could be, like Robert Longstreet and Steve Little could play this, and then I was not at the time thinking Tipper would even consider doing this. And I was like, we could shoot this in Texas and blah blah blah. So I had it all in my head of how to do it, and then I just put it away and was like, I can't make something like this. It's too dirty. And then was thinking about my conversation with Calvin and flipped that back on myself, and I was like, oh yeah, I do. So I didn't tell anyone about it for 2 weeks, and then finally told my wife. I was like, I think I want to adapt this. I think this is a good idea. And then made a couple calls, and people were like, yeah, you should do that.
What was she like?
My wife?
Yeah.
She, I think she was concerned,
Yeah.
like the first thought of how do you tell your parents about this? And it was like,
Yeah.
let's just not,
But she's kind of like newly your wife at this point in time, right? Because you guys just got married.
Yeah. Yeah. But enough to know me. But yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
asking her for permission or anything. It was just like, I
No,
think
no.
I'm going to do this. Would you still remain married to me,
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it really felt like a freeing thing too, to be like,
Yeah.
it's like, I admire people that made these things that are on the fringes, and those
Yes.
things from the fringes became either big or remained on the fringes. So it was like, this is where everything I love is. Why shouldn't I make something there? Like always being like, this needs to achieve certain goals is a horrible way to live your life. It was like, what if we made something that just felt true and fun and like that I would want to see that nobody else is going to do? We should make something that is not in the world right now and that I would want to have there.
Okay. And can I just say, I think that is the experience that I had, because this is not something I would necessarily want to see. Not really my jam. You know what I mean? Like gross out stuff. Even horror movies, not really my jam. But like I was never really into comic books. It's like I can appreciate all of that, but it's just not like, what I would choose. And so I didn't know how I was going to react to it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like having a great time.
It is fun.
But also,
It's a good word for it.
think what was happening was that, and I'm a kid of the 70s, but I feel so like it felt like such pure creativity was happening without any like concerns for fitting into anything that was happening. It was like breaking out of those boundaries while also still fitting into them in a way that like you made a movie, right? It doesn't feel like some snuff film or some crazy just shot on whatever, or like somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. But you pushed it in this way that felt like free creativity again. And it reminds me of some of and maybe it's a lot to do as well within the pacing of your editing that you do, that you like, it feels like something of the 70s where you would go off on these tangents or trips or whatever, and you don't know where you're going or how long you're going to be there, but you're just on this ride. And I really enjoyed watching a movie like that again, that was just so not, there was no place for it really in this world, like on any level. And it lived and existed as like a fantasy came to life, like the comic book came to life. Like you really did that. And I don't know, it felt really like euphoric in that way because everything right now is just like, I don't know, it just all feels the same and nobody gets to take any risks. And so I like really like got excited by that element of it.
Thank you.
That somebody was like making crazy movies when nobody's really making that crazy of movies right now.
Well, and it's funny that you should say that because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but does it feel like a lot of the work that you do does exist in the fringes a lot of the time, which is a special place I think that you've kind of cornered and kind of become a resident of in a lot of ways? There was a time in like the early 90s, I feel like, where film was making movies that had like these grotesque characters that people were like interacting with. They were usually always situated in rural areas that you happen to run across, like that movie Demi Moore was in with Dan Aykroyd back in the day, where they come across this judge that like sentences them to like they get like a flat tire in their like ritzy car going between cities, and then they get pulled in there and it turns into this horrible nightmare situation. But nobody seems to like, it's like, you're right, no one really kind of seems to make those movies anymore at all, and everything's kind of just slowly becoming more and more vanilla as we get more and more homogenized in both film and other arenas.
Or unless it's a straight up horror movie that's going to scare the Jesus out of you. You know, I feel like we're making like scary movies right now that'll like
But even a lot of those are using the same sort of like
the same model
tropes and concepts and stuff like that, you know, this person will like be like, oh well, I'll like do this one thing, like, you know, then you have like an Ari Aster that comes around and kind of like bends a little bit more towards like anxiety as opposed to like straight up like, you know, jump scares or whatever. So you're expecting the door to creak and a loud bang, and what you get is like a psychological trip down like a person's like thought process on why there's like grass growing out of her hand, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. You're like, shit, I didn't even notice that. Have you ever thought to yourself, like going back to what your mom was saying and the young Sheldon joke, I mean, do you ever feel like you would find yourself doing something that's more mainstream, or is this like your comfortable space, you know?
I mean, I think anyone that's making stuff, if it's genuine, it's like I think it is mainstream, you know, and it's like I'm convinced of that, and it's like I'm not right, but it's like, my friend Megan would say that, like I'd be on set and I'm like, everyone's gonna love this, you know, like I really believe that, and not trying to. I really believe that I'm making decisions that are like, maybe because I'm just picturing an audience that's ideal to me, and then I see reality, and it's like, so that, I mean, that's a whole part of the creative process too, is just like you should make things, assume that the audience is with you, you know, like you're never antagonizing them or anything, or working against that. But it's like, I feel like when you're making something, they're rooting for you, and that may not be reality, but it's like I think that everyone would love it. It's like the movies are made with love, and like they couldn't be made if there wasn't like, I mean, you wouldn't be able to finish a movie like this. Like Tipper knows what we're talking about. I was doing months and months and months and months of like effects work, and I did all of that myself in the edit. And it's like, it would be so easy to quit and not do that. Like there's no financial rewards with this. There's no psychologically, you don't get awarded anything. You don't feel better about yourself making a movie. It's
but
like,
wait, 7 Independent Spirit Award nominations? Is
no,
that
was
a
a joke.
Oh.
So my friend Johnny, who did the comic, saw a guy that had he had a jersey on that said "son" and the number 7, so he wrote "Fuck my
That's
son."
hilarious.
7 independent. But yeah, no, I mean, yes, you're right. 7 Independent Spirit Awards just now.
But you've been doing this long enough to know that, like, you know, the rule number one is you're not going to ever please 100% of the people 100% of the time. You can pick the best movie in the world that you think is the best movie in the world, you're number one, and you might feel like 80% of the people you know, 90% of the people you know, maybe 100% like love it. But there's always going to be a handful of people, that one person out there that hates it. You know, that's never going to be. And those people kind of get like loud on like Letterboxd sometimes, or you know, Twitter or whatever. They find that space to just say whatever they want behind the anonymity of like, you know, whatever. So when you're going into it, a movie like this anyway, and you know in advance, I think you knew from day one this was going to be what we're referring to as an X-rated film, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you automatically knew that there was going to be a subsect of the community that would not be able to access the movie, right?
Yeah.
In a way. Or did you think that would make it more attractive to them?
I thought so too. I mean, it just definitely it paints a picture of what it is. So it's like your hope that the audience that knows about it will go to it, and otherwise they'll stay away from it. It's like it's not going to be controversial in a way that movies like this were controversial back in the day, like in the 70s. Like if Texas Chainsaw Massacre was rated X when it came out, you know, and it's like there's this Christian, you know, anything that was X-rated, Christians would protest it and stuff, you know. And that's kind of the joke now is that, like you're going to get protested for being X-rated because the Christians will come after you. And they don't care now. They know what's for them and what's not. They have their own, you know, it's not now it's, well, obviously like AI or technology stuff people are mad about. They're the new Christian coalition, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like just people that are in, you know, it's like what cult is going to come after you now? And you don't know. And it is, you know, it can be terrifying because the Christian coalition really did scare filmmakers then because they were getting their movies banned from theaters.
Right.
That's why the X rating had to go away, was because Chain said we will not show this rating even though it's an MPAA rating. And then Deep Throat and all of that stuff just kind of took over what that rating meant to people. And so there will be new versions of that now. Like we'll see like people wanting to put a ban on something because of the software they used or something, you know, and that to me is like this exact same thing for whatever your cause is. It's censorship. And it's fascinating to watch that and be part of it because it's like in retrospect, you're like, oh, that guy is so cool that they banned Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Last Temptation of Christ. What a great time. And it's like, I bet you Martin Scorsese would be like, that was not fun until we realized it was profitable, you know, that played in our favor. But I'm sure those movies were sweating it where it was like, this could tank everything that we've done, you know, because this group is very vocal. You know?
But there is also a very specific like audience for this kind of movie.
Yeah.
You know, and it's at Fantastic Fest or, you know, at the midnight showing.
Yeah, right now in this moment, you were at TIFF 2 weeks ago, which was the world premiere.
Yeah.
You premiered at Fantastic Fest 2 nights ago, I think, a midnight screening. And then you have a 2:00 show today, right? Right after this, you're going to go, and that's your second and final screening at Fantastic Fest.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of at the beginning of this long journey, basically.
Yeah.
I think the great thing about it, though, is that most of the time when people describe a movie like this to me, or you can get kind of scared that it's going to hurt you, because in certain filmmakers' hands, I feel like if they push it a certain way, it kind of can. And you're like, oh, man, oh, God, really? Why'd you have to? Oh. And for some reason, you kept it in this delightfully somewhat cartoonish realm. I don't want to say cartoonish, but it stayed in a realm that was just not real enough to where, you know, anything with the kid or anything like that, it didn't like hurt me or like upset me in any way. It was
too,
fun.
Which was,
yeah.
I think the thing that allowed us to just kind of breathe a little bit, you know, because I think there's a version of this movie you could have done that would have been a lot more
sinister,
not fun, and way more sinister, you know, like, you know, I don't know.
I really like.
I mean, child still does get abused and die in the movie. I mean, it's like it is.
Yeah.
But it's like that's also Grimm's fairy tales, you know, it's like throwing kids in the oven and the Wicked Witch stuff and blowing up and stuff. That's, you know, classic stuff. But that's why I loved those stories, not because I loved seeing children murdered, you know. It was like but that idea, that threat and stuff is very fun.
Yeah, and I think like the way that you created it and handled it was like just the right mark. You know what I mean? It stayed in that realm.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the hope. I think for, who knows who's walking into this thing and seeing it and being like...
Well, that's true. Other people maybe.
But yeah, I don't know if anyone's been mad about child abuse yet. That's why I'm just like, you're welcome to be mad about this. It is...
Yeah.
It should be disturbing. Like murder and like, HBO documentaries about child murder and, you know, this kind of stuff are so popular, you know, and maybe that is why none of this stuff is shocking, where people are like,
true.
I truly love watching and hearing about children's rape and murder on these HBO shows.
Murder
and
porn.
it's just, it's my way to relax at home. And so I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So it's like, what can I be mad about? I'll be mad about the AI or something. But it's like, this very telling about now, I think, too.
I mean, what did you think, Tipper? Were you like,
you haven't
at all concerned?
You haven't done an X-rated film before,
like...
I'm assuming. I'm just assuming.
No, I haven't. Well, for me, it's like, because I know Todd so well and I know his work and I'm a fan of all the stuff he's made. It's like I read it and I could just picture exactly like how Todd would do it and the tone of it. And so, I mean, I don't know. I was just like, oh man, this is
You had zero
funny.
reservations.
This is like...
Between trust and fun, there was like a handshake there that you were ready to just jump in.
Well, we talked about it too prior to even me asking you to be in it. That was the thing. So I think there was...
Yeah, I mean, he had sent it to me like just to read like as a friend or whatever, because he was like, oh, I wrote this. I think I'm going to try and make this movie. And I was like, I want to read it. And so he sent it to me and I was like, whoa, this movie's like fun and gross. And like, oh, like I was reading the script being like, ew, oh man, no.
You were on the bus, you're screaming.
Yeah.
And I just was like, wow, this is fun. This would be so fun to make and be a part of. Yeah.
But I was asking for Tipper for help in terms of like talking about casting, like who do we find to do this? Because it's so awful, the things that have to be done. And I was like, I can't ask. I mean, Tipper and I know each other for so long, and I was like, I can't ask Tipper to do this. It's so gross. But then we were talking to a different actress about it, and it was kind of like, well, some of this stuff is really vile. And I was like, well, yeah, it shouldn't be like the sexual stuff in it shouldn't be pointed towards the main character so much, and then that's where a lot of the stuff came in about the perversion in it and who's the pervert and why you showing up here and to do all this, and that become a fun thing to play with in it. And it was like, well, then we shouldn't, like that lead actress should, maybe the audience is like waiting for this awful thing to happen that we should be saying, this shouldn't be happening, but yet maybe the audience is rooting to be like, take your top off, and so we were talking about a different actress at that point and saying like, oh no, then that makes sense to, kind of where nudity is involved and all that kind of stuff. And then at some point it was like, well, in that case, like I wouldn't ask Tipper to ever do anything like that. Maybe the original script was a little closer to Johnny's comic, maybe, but I don't know. Wait, I can't remember exactly. But then it became like, well, if we did it this way,
in the comic, she's like pantless the whole time, like no, like full frontal, no bottom.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we did not do that in the movie.
Yeah, that was like, who wants to spend a month sitting in a basement floor with no pants on? And that was like Steve Little said when he was playing the monster in it, and he's like, I don't know who's got the worst like set up here. Like Tipper's in her underwear the whole time, and then I'm in this suit sweating, and Robert's got makeup on. He's got to get touched up every 10 minutes. So it's like, I thought that was great. It was like you're all equally tortured in a different way, and nobody knows who's.
And what's interesting is that I feel like there were different parts in the film where I was relating. Like usually it's just you're on board with your protagonist and that's it. But there were points where I was kind of relating to each character at different parts of the film. You know what I
felt that too.
Obviously, I was already on like the Tipper's side and like just like this is fucked up. But then like when Robert Longstreet was in there and he was like telling her to do stuff, I was like, this is interesting. Where's this gonna go?
Yeah.
And then I think at one point there was a scene where I think it was towards the end where it wasn't any kind of sexual stuff, but it was like. Steve Little's character, I felt like really sorry for him. Like all of a sudden there was a moment of truth there between you two. And I was just like, wow, this is just taking it to, I did not expect it to go to this extra level where I would ever feel sorry for this being, this creature or whatever.
Bag of shit is what we call him.
Bag of shit.
And you had, correct me if I'm wrong, but because I think I was at the wrap party, but I think you had like, an Academy Award-winning prosthetics individual who worked on that, right?
Robert Kurtzman, who's done everything. I mean, he started like on Evil Dead 2. I mean, he's done. If you look up his IMDb, you will know like
it's
so many people. Like if they do that thing, like you have this many connections with this person. He's worked on Yeah, I mean, Pulp Fiction, Austin Powers movies, did the fat bastard costume stuff. He did Nightmare on Elm Street movies. He did
a couple Don Coscarelli movies.
all the Dusk Till Dawn stuff. Yeah, all the Tarantino stuff. He made the Penis and Boogie Nights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the Penis and the Curse, the little tiny penis. I wanted to have here, I was like, can we do a Hall of Fame of penises, Robert Kurtzman's penises? But they're like, we don't have a lobby anymore to display it. But
how did you get to him?
He was through a producer that I had met. Was like, I was trying to ask him to help finance it, and he was like, I can't, but I know Robert Kurtzman to do your makeup stuff, and got in touch with him. And he happened to live in the same town, this tiny town in Ohio called Crestline that my grandma lived in. And he grew up there, and like his family owns the like trash and recycling company there. And so he moved back home, and so it's like that small of a town that like his name is on all the trash cans.
Oh, wow.
But like I never met him when I was a little kid, but I loved movies, and to know that he was literally like 2 minutes down the road from my grandma's house that whole time.
That's
he was in LA,
crazy.
I guess, but he still had property there and his family was there.
Wow.
And I was obsessed with makeup effects and stuff. So yeah, and then I sent him the script, and he was really into it, and he was wonderful. Him and his wife Marcy just came on, did everything, like did exactly what they said they were going to do. They were the best people ever to work with.
He wanted to make that giant penis.
He did, yeah. He was.
I had a conversation with him at the rap party. He was one of the nicest people I've ever spoken
that's
to.
great, yeah.
He was so gentle and cool and kind, honestly.
Yeah.
So how did you go about casting? Like, did you?
Otherwise it was like I knew that Robert would be that role.
We all know that.
No, not that he would do it.
We all know that Robert would do this.
I mean, I knew that he could do it. It was like, because like Johnny Ryan, who wrote it, was very much like, you need to get an older woman. You have to get like a person that's like 80 something to do it. And I was like, that will never happen. I mean, I might know some people, but it was like in terms of getting that performance and finding somebody that age who's game and has the energy.
Brilliant.
And I was just
brilliant
like,
choice.
Yeah. I was
brilliant,
like, I want him to
perfect.
do it. And then it was like, but what if it comes across as like, this is a joke, or you didn't understand? And I was just like, that was the biggest leap. And Robert was terrified that like that wouldn't come across, that it wouldn't sell it as an old woman. And that was the scary part. So, and then Steve Little, I just thought for the creature, because it was like, and we didn't know how that was going to work too, because it was so much makeup. But then as soon as like Steve's eyes and everything really come through, like we were going to have a fake eye
to his eyes. Like,
yeah, you have to have those.
Yeah. But then the young girl.
Yeah, Kinsey, yeah, who loves Tipper.
How do you find Kinsey?
Well, Todd reached out to a casting director, right, to find and got some submissions from little girls that I think were all Texas. Were most of them Texas based? Yeah. And then like I think you were like, oh, let me send you these girls and see what you think. And I go, oh, I think this girl Kinsey is the number one. And you go, that's exactly, she was my number one too.
Yeah, I already knew that, but I was like, that kind of thing. It's like, because there's only a few auditions that were sent in, and there were two really, really strong Kinseys and this other girl that had sent stuff. They were both like incredible. And like the biggest worry was, how are you going to get a kid and their parents to be on board for this?
I mean,
how did you handle that?
Game. Like we were very honest and told them what we were doing. Yeah. And I gave Kinsey an edited down script for her, and then her parents the full script, and talked about what it was going to be like. And then, I mean, we stuck to all those things. Kinsey has still never seen the movie.
Yeah. And she wasn't in any, like we shot around her. Yeah.
Yeah, as much as you could.
I figured.
And did you guys have to spend any time together beforehand just to kind of develop
we went and got ice cream.
Oh, that's
great.
Yes.
Day before,
Here
or
in
a
Austin?
couple days before. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Cute.
But she's the best. She's just like super fun and just like was excited. She loves special effects and horror stuff. Like she works at a haunted house every year in her hometown
as the Shining twins, right?
Yeah, she's like a kid who's like, ooh, fresh meat coming through. She was telling me that was one line that she had to say.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was so much fun. Just like, because like you can make jokes with her and she's joking around, and it's just like, she
loved dying. She loved blowing up in the oven. It was just totally like,
and her whole family was like just so chill about it, and
what
so
a total
nice.
gold mine situation.
That's
honestly.
amazing.
How could you? I check all those. I mean, I remember before you started making, I think you had sent me the script, and the deck, and I was having the same verbal reactions you were. I was like, get to a new page, I was like, oh god. And I remember I got to the page where she gets tortured, and I was just like, oh, how is this gonna?
Yeah.
Like as a producer, my producer brain, red flag just started going ding, 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 ding. Like, child service, blah, 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 all these things. Like what parents are gonna, blah, 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 whatever. Especially if they're like rural here, like they're gonna be Christian in some capacity. It's like, and then it's just like all these conversations you have to sort of navigate. And I always find that in those moments, honestly, that honesty is usually always the best frontward policy.
Yeah.
Just like being, this is exactly what we're trying to do. And
yeah, because if they're going to have any reservations, then they should go now.
Exactly.
Like, we should not even get into this because.
And also when you're on set, it's like you can't hide anything from anybody. So why even try to?
It's the casting process, though, is also like a tiptoey kind of thing. Like you can't. All your cards are not on the table at the very beginning.
Right.
You're very much auditioning like a scene. I don't know which scene you auditioned for.
No, you had written, it wasn't even a scene from the movie.
Yeah, because it was too hard in the movie to be like, mommy, 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 ow, ow, ow. It's like, so I think I wrote something else.
You wrote about like, there was like a spider, because you wrote
Just
something that was like emotion. So it was like, talking to her mom, and then it was like, there's something on your shoulder, and she was like, what is it? Get it off me! Oh! So you kind of had like all the different emotions in there.
So I mean, at some point you have to turn the page there and be like, okay, we like you. None of that was the thing. Here is the thing, and that's just got to be tremendously nerve-wracking, honestly.
It made me nervous, to be like, but it was also just like, but that was with everybody, even asking for money and stuff on it. So by that point too, it was like I was used to people being like what? And you're like, okay, bye. Like any kind of like brow furrowing was just like, we're not going to win you back, but it's okay. I was like, it's always okay to be like, no. Like no is a great answer.
Yeah.
To just get back so then we can try to figure it out next. But no, it was just so lucky to have Kinsey and her family. I love them. I mean, I love Kinsey so much and love her family so much, and they're so happy about it. They're like,
they came to the premiere.
Grateful.
They came to TIFF, and they were here on Friday for the premiere, cool. And I think maybe going to try to go some others, but they're just excited.
Do you think it's a different vibe at Fantastic Fest versus a TIFF? I would assume the vibe.
This was nice. Yeah,
I feel like the Fantastic Festers are like, give it to me.
It's so hard to tell. It's like, I mean, it's hard. It's still, I don't know what our takeaway of what. I mean, audience reaction in the room is like incredible.
Yeah.
Afterwards, reading stuff online is like as if none of those. It's the opposite. It's insane. It's like I just can't connect the two. And then, but I don't really have enough information to be like.
I find that the people who like things are less likely to like write about it.
Oh yeah,
that seems to be TIFF, like the screening was great. Everybody was reacting. We're like, oh man, the audience loves it. They're really on board for it. And then the next day, it's like 200 half-star reviews. But what's interesting is a lot of the reviews are like, I'm so glad I saw this in the theater. Me and my friends had a blast watching it. I don't like this movie. Don't go see it. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. But yeah, and also just like people that are I've read some of them. I went to a bar after TIFF and sat down and started everyone's like, do not read it. And it's like, yeah, that's not great advice to say, because then it's like, this beer is good. What are these reviews? And it was like very shocking, just to me to be like the hate, the hate for something that's so, to me, it's like, but you all just had a great time. I watched you have a good time. Yeah. Or somebody like at Fantastic Fest yesterday said, I'm so glad I saw it here because I know this will never be released or put out anywhere. And it was like, but you had a good time. Why do you think that why wouldn't this be? Why shouldn't it be? But there is so much ingrained in people about the business and how that works and how they perceive it to work that this shouldn't be out. Like, we are not allowed to have this, therefore we will never see it because everything is corporatized and we're okay with that and we're used to it. And it's like, but what if we don't do that? Like, could you, there is another way. Not everything is going to be on Hulu, obviously, anymore after even like the last few weeks of seeing stuff get banned. So
Very
it's like,
true.
Especially at Fantastic Fest, it's like, what if the industry wasn't part of this?
Yeah, I think that's part of the uphill battle too. I mean, you made this film for very little money, I'm assuming, and now you're in the festival situation where you're dealing with reviews, and it's also still an uphill battle because in a lot of ways the mentality of people today is like, it's not true crime on Netflix, I'm not into it. It's like how all the cars in the world now are like 3 colors. like silver, white, and black. Like they're removing slowly all the fun stuff from everything.
Yeah.
And your view is becoming this. So when you come along and you're like, hey, I'm over here doing this thing, everybody's like, oh, watch it, And then whenever I see a review at the end of it where it tells you to do something, like, don't see this thing or don't do that, I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because, like, who are you to not tell someone to do something or not do something?
But I also feel like reverse psychology could work in your favor in that way.
Well, I also think, like, actually having, like, because people who don't like it for some reason are so passionate about hating it that they'll write like 2 paragraphs.
That's right.
And I would rather somebody give a half-star review about how like than like a 3-star review where it's like a mediocre response.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I would rather somebody like hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I think we did something there.
Yeah.
And then
we made them feel something.
100%.
And then also I'm kind of like, what is that passion? Like what I got to see that. Like I'm a little one of those kind of people like, why do you hate this so much? Like a lot of times people are like, oh my God, you have to go see this movie. It's so good. And everyone's like, it's amazing. Go see it. Go see it. I'm like, really? I'm probably not going to like it. But if someone's like, if like a bunch of people are like, oh, this is terrible. I hate it. It's the worst movie ever. I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Why is it?
I just want to say there are some good reviews. Also, like there are totally some 5-star reviews and hearts that like people like the movie.
Yeah,
Especially
and those really stick with you. The good, no, it's like all you think about is that people are like, "Fuck you, go die." Yeah, there is one that said, "I shouldn't even give this any oxygen."
But just
it does
that you should be drone strike.
Yeah, it said I should be. Yeah, they should be allowed that any gay person can drone strike me until not an atom of my body is left.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely.
Why a gay person? What is
because
that?
it invokes John Waters. They're like anyone that if you invoke John Waters in in a movie like this, as if like John Waters is like his movies are only for gay people.
Right.
It's like and it's like that is not how he identifies his movies as. His movies are, like that is not his target audience to be like, hey, I'm going to make movies for solely gay people. It's like those had huge impact on a lot of people.
That's right.
And
I'm one of them.
So yeah, it's like
I also think the age of everybody getting, to sit behind the safety of their
100%.
thing and say a bunch of verbal diarrhea and not have any consequences for themselves. Some people could use a good slap.
I looked up the person that wrote it, and she says posts of like anime stuff she's drawing and bunnies, and I was like, God, it's just like such a sweet person.
That's what I'm saying.
And she just loves like animals and stuff, and I'm like,
and then she says something like that.
Then she wants me to be drone striked until like not a piece of flesh is left, and it's like,
okay.
Wow.
That might have been fun to write from the safety of your computer, but say
it's
that,
like a
say
sweet
that to his
person
face.
that would know. Yeah, it's like she doesn't mean it. It's like just wherever that's coming from is not about this movie. But so that's every I've been looking up people that are writing that just to be like, what is the psychology of this? What is happening? Why? I'm just trying to have an understanding of it. And it's like all these really sweet, like very sensitive people.
Oh, really?
And so it's like, yeah, I don't know what to think about that. It's like. I'm not a fan of human beings in the first place, so it's like
same. Dogs are better.
It's interesting also some people complaining about it when it's like, did you read the title tells you everything about the movie.
Yeah.
We're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
The title's the movie.
Yeah.
I went to see Fuck My Son, and it is gross.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what
were
you think
you
it was
going
gonna be?
to?
Yeah.
Like, what did you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but honestly, it is kind of fun having these conversations now. But it's like
the day after
it's
the
like,
premiere,
it's
was
the worst
just
thing you could
depressing.
have. Yeah.
No.
But now it's like funny.
Yeah, it's like seeing a hobo crap his pants right in front of you. It's horrible. And then like a week later when you're telling people about it, it's like, I saw this hobo crap in his pants. And they're like, what happened?
But there's actually been a lot of like really nice people coming up to us.
Very sweet.
Since the screening here that have just been
everything
really
in
nice
person
about
is
it.
like, it's night and day.
Person,
it's like the reaction in the theater is so much fun. And like hearing people laugh and scream at stuff. And like today for our screening, I'm going to say, I think like 15 minutes in, you all should order brownies. Trust me. Like the brownie here is so good.
Oh my God.
Like, just the idea of brownie plates coming out right when that diaper comes off, and it's like.
Oh, I wish you could order. I mean, it'd be too expensive.
But I'm going to say, guys, I just got a
good.
tip from the kitchen. The brownies like today are like fresh, and I'm going to try to sell it as like.
Fresh and gooey.
Because it's 2 PM. Like you would get like a treat. Get a milkshake, Like
chocolate milkshake.
Because then it's like just seeing all the waiters come out and throwing brownies. I tried to get the Alamo to do for this, but they're so overwhelmed.
Menu?
To do a diaper with a melted Milky Way in it for everybody right at that scene to come out. And they're like, we cannot ask our wait staff to do that right now. Like, it's so crazy.
Okay, well,
I wish we had done it. I would have done it myself. We could get some diapers and candy right now.
Tipper says this all the time.
And we could do it ourselves and then personally
make shit
hand
happen.
out those. I'm not even joking right now.
Tipper make shit happen.
Do you know if Tim's seen this movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
League, you watched it?
Tim read the script when we were shooting it, because he's so, he was so helpful just in terms of trying to help us find locations.
Yeah, he's great.
And whatever. And he was like, he was whatever I can do to help.
And I do have a confession to make that I was almost near the end of the film, and I was watching it on my phone. I know that's like a terrible thing.
Wow.
To do.
Oh, wow.
I was watching it on my phone while I was at El Rancho waiting for my to-go order.
And you were like, forget it.
Like, my daughter wanted enchiladas. And I was like, she was like, can you get me El Rancho? And I was like, sure. But like, I didn't want to stop watching the movie. So I took it with me on my phone. And I was like waiting. And I was like, made sure I put myself like up against. So it was just quite busy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And it was like, the kind of before the part 1 and 2 ending. So it was like, the climax of everything that happens. And the dreaminess of it all, and everything was going down, and I'm waiting for El Rancho. Sorry.
Yeah,
here's
I want to
your
watch.
Burrito.
Yeah.
They're like,
watch it on a plane is a great
idea.
You
gotta
too.
get it. You gotta sell that deal where you get it on a plane.
Yeah, get an
you
aisle
can only
seat.
Some
see
refried beans.
live in theaters or on a plane.
Yeah, we were talking about maybe Spirit Airlines.
This is what happened to Kate and Andrew's movie. They did some sort of deal, with Tribeca or something like that. I can't remember who it was. And their movie wound up on like a bunch of JetBlue planes for the better part of a year, basically.
that's amazing.
So, I mean, just like, I don't know, just walking down an aisle and seeing this movie on people's screens and shit, that would be so funny.
It would be. And that's what a great place where you can't pirate the movie on an airplane.
That's right.
It's a very safe, maybe, only available on planes, asterisk, where available, and theaters,
So
the stewardesses can pass out, the Nudovision and Perbovision glasses.
Would you like to see more or see less?
Yeah.
So Todd, you knew going into this early on that you were already embracing what I guess you consider like an alternative distribution model for the film. And this is something that I definitely was really excited to have you on to talk to you about because as you know, the industry is currently suffering itself with how things are being distributed, all being conglomerarized and corporatized and stuff like that. You knew from early on that this movie wasn't going to be something that was going to get picked up by any major streamer or whatever. I mean, maybe it will in some capacity, but so your plan early on, can you just talk about what the plan is, what it looks like from you and how early you conceived it and how, all encompassing it potentially is?
Yeah, it's kind of like, with making the movie too, it feels like, you go out, I'm going to try to raise this money myself, but if somebody comes along and can join in when it's happening, great, but I decided just not to pitch the movie even to a production company because that process is so just sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
And, just hearing people be like, well, we're going to change the title first,
Right.
It's like, okay, well, and I've had experience with that with a different movie that was just like every day somebody pulls another thing out until it doesn't resemble anything what you set out to, and then your name gets put on it. And it's humiliating and it's awful. And it for some people that is okay, they can stand to do that. And I learned about myself that just is really painful. It doesn't mean that I can't do things that aren't like this. I certainly can. I just want to know what I'm going into that I'm making. I can make a kid's movie. I can do all of that stuff. But it's but for this, something that was so felt transgressive or subversive, it was like, it has to have that. Those are the elements that make it what it is. It has to have this title. It has to be, say, rated X, I want to keep it just in theaters. The plan was, A24 and Neon would be the only companies that could potentially put this out, and they're not going to. So I was like, that right there told me what are other options, and it's plan A then needs to be that we self-distribute the movie, but that's not impossible right now. Basically, most distributors are doing things that you can do. So it's like a lot of people have to go to a production company to get their movie put together because they don't know how the bells and whistles of making a movie work. They don't know how to put a budget together. They don't know how a crew works.
Deliverables.
They don't know who they have to. Yeah. And I did, like even for the Adult Swim shows that we did, I did all of the post. I finished it. I was the post producer. It's like I deliver the files. I make the, everything that's needed. And so I'm like, I know how to make the movie. Yeah, we can do that. I know how to distribute the movie because it's simpler than making it. It's like we can just start saying, here is our product and go theater to theater and just do a slower rollout. And in the history of exploitation cinema, it's always a sleeper hit, a cult movie.
Yeah.
Anything that's got subversive elements to it is a slow word of mouth build because you can't convince people that like this stuff right up front through an advertisement, through a billboard. It's like,
Right.
like exactly like you're saying, wait, you're telling me I can't see this? Like I'll go, or, this group of like the popular kids are saying it's gross. Like I'm going to go, then it's for me.
Yeah.
So that idea was like, well, we can do the slow rollout. No distributor's going to take that on. So it just all kind of made sense. And I pitched it to the people that invested in the movie that we'll do that. And so we've already booked, this hasn't been announced yet, but it's like, we've booked until the end of the year theatrically, starting in New York City. Then we go to LA, and then we go to back here, and then we're in San Francisco and Chicago and like Fort Lauderdale, and like so it's like all these different cities until the next calendar year starts at the beginning of the year, and then we're booking those cities now. So it's like we've already got a dozen cities under our belt before it even premiered.
Amazing.
And then that feels like that's where we have to get people to show up to those, and that's what all these festivals are about and stuff. So, but that feels like what a distributor would do.
Yeah, totally.
So, or people would, if I declared like some distributor bought our movie, it's the same thing, except the distributor didn't give us like $25,000 and keep all the rights to it. That's basically like what these deals are now. You're not getting any money unless, because they can't prove that it's a hit, and they're just going to tell you that it's not a hit and it's not going to work. And then if it is, then they make the money and you don't. So it's not like I'm not slamming on that stuff. That is just the reality of the world right now. And just knowing that was like, well, then why don't we just do it? And
so is that literally like you're reaching out to theaters themselves?
Yeah, we have a great booker, this guy Gavin Briscoe, who worked for Magnolia and Utopia and all these different places as a booker, and he just knows the theaters and can call them up. Here's how this works. Here's what we want. And not just on a Tuesday at 3:00 in the afternoon. We want like a full week, or like we just want to do evening shows too. We're not somebody that needs a Tuesday at 3:00, but every night, if to do that kind of thing. And then with the idea to bring it back, if we can get those screenings sold out, we'd love to come back in a couple months, and continue to do this as we're not going to put it on streaming and that kind of stuff. So it's like a commitment to the theaters, and then hopefully that, if obviously people have to show up for it, but if that can work, that they will be like, great, yeah, we'll bring it back.
Do they have to watch the film before they say yes to it? Like,
some of them do, some of them don't. Yeah, I think after our IFC opening, if it does decently, a lot of them will just be like, whatever's fine. Like if we can prove that, which I hope we can, but who knows? Maybe nobody shows up. Maybe there's, who knows? But like, again, that's the hope is, that our New York first screening there is our theatrical premiere, and a lot of eyes will be on that. So yeah, that's kind of, but that's what would be the same situation with any distributor.
Yeah.
Like they might put it in that one city, doesn't do well, and they're like, sorry guys, it's going to be on Tublue.
Yeah.
Bluebee.
Tublue Dabo.
Pablo. Glumpy.
Glumpy.com.
Yeah. I think it is going to stream on Glumpy eventually.
Yes. Yeah. We did make a deal with Glumpy.
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah. Glumpy?
Glumpy?
Yeah, it's cool. You should look it up. They have like some really interesting stuff on there.
It's like senior citizen content in the day, and then in the evening is just pornography.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glumpy. Get Glumpy.
Is this
Get
for real?
glumped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like $25 a month.
It really is.
Yeah. If you go on the apps and you search for it like on your TV or whatever, you'll see the logo, which is like, it's like kind of, it has like a G that's kind of like that slimy font.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with that, wearing an old hat, like an old man's hat.
Yeah.
Perfect. Senior citizen content in the day and porn at night.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
How come nobody's ever thought of that before?
I don't know. It seems like
I mean, they have. It's Glumpy.
Yeah.
They thought about it. And
Before Glumpy.
Yeah.
Before you get glumped, it was just Tubi.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
But Tubi's.
And so in the film though, Tipper, you're the what is it? The meaties?
Meaty mates.
Meaty mates.
You're the meaty mates.
It's true. I am the meaty mates.
And is it you're the meaty mates? Is it do you do, and you also in your band you sing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The rumors are true.
And so like do you
Play
just
guitar,
like
yeah.
do you do voice work or?
I have, and in the past, and I have like a voiceover agent, and I get sent auditions, but I have not booked. I booked one thing. The first audition I had from a voiceover agent, I booked, and that was probably like 7 or 8 years ago, and have never booked a voiceover audition since.
Wait, but
Weird.
Did you do Adventure Time?
Yeah,
and
but
stuff?
that was before. That was through our friend Kent worked on Adventure Time, so he brought me in to do Adventure Time voice.
That counts.
Which was
as getting a job.
No, that counts. But that was before. I was just saying
before your talent. Yeah,
before I had somebody who was sending me auditions.
Right.
I would like to do more because I think it's so much fun.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
I would like to too.
I've done it quite a lot. And
Yeah.
it's so effing lucrative.
It's
No,
a
so-
lot of money in a short period. I'm just doing it for
it's
an
the
hour. It's like
best.
$900
Wow.
an hour. It's like,
It is.
great.
It is the best pay I've ever gotten for like the amount of time you spend and
Yeah.
also how much fun it is.
Yeah.
I just love doing it. Being in the studio, making voices.
Got some
and-
video
Yeah.
games and stuff.
I
It's
did
been
video
pretty
games
great.
too, yeah.
When I did this the episode of Adventure Time, they try and get a few of the actors there, but usually it might just be you, or it might just be like one or two other people. But the day I went in, Tom Kenny was also doing his voice, and he's like the voiceover legend.
Mhm.
And watching him do the voices was like incredible.
Was he just
'Cause-
on his phone and stuff? He's like this doing it? And-
No, but the thing was,
He's like over here. He's like, 5 years ago.
no, but they were like, okay, we just need some grunts and stuff. And then for like a series of like 3 solid minutes, he was doing all these variations, and it was like funny. And you're like, this is why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also loves it. It seems like he's truly like,
Yeah.
he's always on and goofy.
No, it wasn't like he was phoning it in either.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of not phoning it in, I watched Wildcard also. And that is quite an impressive piece of work, honestly.
Thank you.
I was like, I got to see this thing that won this award.
Yeah.
I loved every little second of that movie.
Oh my God.
Aw.
It hit all the right notes for me. You were great. The other guy, he's
Billy, yeah.
fantastic. Longstreet's voice in there,
Yep.
amazing.
Little cameo.
All the visually how it looked, like cinematography is amazing. Your title treatment blew me away. Like, I'm a big fan of titles. My wife's a graphic designer, so we kind of get off on that kind of stuff. That was incredible. I think I saw you driving the car first. And in the thing, and I said to myself, I was like, if this shit is a fucking old Mercedes convertible, I'm going to blow my fucking stack. And it sure was. And those fucking gloves. I mean, everything was just top notch. I just wanted to
thank
say
you
it was
so
just really
much.
awesome. So,
Well, I have to say, Tipper is also fantastic in Fuck My Son.
yeah.
It's
Thank
like
you, thank
new
you.
scream queen for the ages, so to speak.
Yeah.
Heroine of all heroines. I was like rooting for you the whole time to kick some ass, and your screaming is amazing.
Yeah, when we shot it, it was like Tipper would channel like Adrienne Barbeau, not on purpose. I would see that. I felt like it's like watching Adrienne Barbeau, and then it would turn and she would just be like doing stuff that I felt like only Bruce Campbell could do. Like
Yeah.
in terms of shifting from like goofy to serious
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
screaming in real pain.
Yeah.
And then and so that kind of stuff. And then we'd call cut, and Tipper would be like, "All right, where's what's next?" And it was just so game for it, and just so on the ball always.
Yeah.
Like where you don't. It's just like, that was great. Like, I don't really have anything to say. Let's
Yeah.
say something then.
I really enjoy
I didn't
it.
say that. I feel like it was.
I think there were times where it was just like, I was truly like, I don't want to say anything. Everything we just did, let's just do it again and just see what happens. I feel like I was saying that a lot because it was
Well,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to say anything that's going to wreck what you already did.
Well, in any time, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, we got it. And if we didn't, you're like, oh, well, try this or something, But it all was kind of like easy, I feel like.
Oh, God. For me,
Yeah.
it's like, truly, it was like, I mean, and we did Adult Swim stuff before
Yeah,
this, and
yeah.
Tipper was on that, and it was like a lot of people with different levels of acting experience, some a lot, some,
Yeah.
and then in balancing that out was so hard, and there's like 8 people on screen at the same time, and you have to go in there and be like, Jesus Christ, okay, this, then this, and this, and just go to Tipper and be like, how's it going? And
I
like,
love
no, it was
watching
just like
her.
a break just to have with Tipper because she was just always thinking about, showing up and having thoughts about it, knowing what's going on is great.
She was great to watch. I loved watching you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, honestly. Just to put that, I'm a big fan of like, I don't know, when people talk about music or art or whatever, I seem to think that any of it is horrible. I just think that it's all nuanced and different, and maybe not for everybody, but if you find the stuff that you like, that's kind of like the greatest gift. And so even if you're someone who looks at a movie like this and says, this shit sucks, I hate it, like, good, bye. There's like other people who will come to it and be like, this was amazing, this was so much fun, and that I had a lot of fun watching it, honestly.
But see, and I always think there's a big difference between the two things that you just said. This shit sucks, I hate it. You can hate it, but it didn't suck. It doesn't suck.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of work went into it. I mean, as a filmmaker, I look at it and I just
super
see
talented
all the work
filmmaking going on.
Shit.
Super talented.
I'm thinking about when you call cut and everybody's sweaty in a basement and you've been at it for 8 hours and you've done this one thing over and over again and you're asking for another thing, and
I think what you crafted is amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like,
yeah, it's not
seriously.
easy.
I mean, for something so perverse and subversive and all the zivs, vizzes words, I really do. I think what you crafted was amazing. And so like it might not be what I'm gonna pick when I'm like scrolling for whatever.
Yeah.
But like
it's like when you're waiting to get your enchiladas, you might not be like, hey, I need to watch Fuck My Son.
Yeah, no. But I found myself doing that and I highly enjoyed myself. And I was like, hey, that was awesome. I'm always gonna remember waiting for enchiladas watching the end of Fuck My Son.
Can you tell them that they should just have it on a TV showing there while people are waiting for their orders?
They should.
But Heather, I'm going to say this, like seeing it in the theater is very rewarding.
I'm sure of that.
Because
I'm sure.
The theater I saw it in, there were reactions all across the auditorium, and that was a gift that I had not got to experience in a long time, which was just part of the whole thing. Like theater and film.
For sure.
This is like the antidote to, in my opinion, of what is ailing society these days. To have communion in this way with people, sharing something in a room, like that's
and I feel like
invaluable.
This would be one of those things that is ultimately the best communal experience because there's so much like ooh, and laughing.
Oh, there were tons
of
like
oh my god,
turns and
like Shay said he almost threw up one time.
I did almost.
Really?
At one point, I was like,
like diaper part.
Yen to N was like,
yeah, I think the diaper part was.
That's my favorite part.
Big.
Yeah,
I think like the whole was a little bit of a mystery, and I was just like, what's going to happen here? Yen's just chuckling next to me because he said he saw like a DCP or something, so he knew everything, and he was like expecting stuff.
Love that.
Yeah, listening to Yen Tan laugh at what he finds funny in this movie made me so happy because he came when we were just checking the DCP, and I was like, you can watch with us, and he was sitting right behind me, and just the things that he would laugh at I was just like, his brain is the best.
God.
Like,
I would
just
love
the
that.
Darkest places where. But it I think also like what you're saying about just the creative thing right now, where it's like I think even in reading some of these things where people see a movie like this and try to tie it in like, well, this movie isn't going to do well or it's not going to be released. Like just putting in commerce and creativity are locked so firmly in so many people's heads. And I think that I truly think that's why we live in a society that's very depressed right now, especially with younger people. They see creativity has to have a monetary reward to it. So when you make something like this, that's like, hey, I don't, like this isn't for the entire world. This isn't the easiest money grab in the world. Like that there's some pushback to that because they don't, it's like, this is my theory, that maybe there's just like this thing of like, why would you do something creative if it's not going to financially benefit you?
I think that's one of the things I felt so exciting about
That's
it.
great.
That's what I got
kind of my
from watching it. You translated it best for me.
Yeah.
Where I felt pure creativity.
And
because it was like, you were 100% all in. You committed. You did the thing. You did it great. You did it well. And like, there's nothing like super, nothing seems amateur in that area at all. And then at the same time, you can tell that like you are beholden to no one. You are not worried about, fitting into any box or making any money back. Or
what box could really hold Todd Rohal?
Well, it's like we want it to do well and we want people to see it. And we think that, and it feels like, it was a creative process all the way through. It wasn't like, okay, here's the script and we just need to execute it. And here's our list and here's our shot list. It was like, we really didn't know what Steve was going to be like. It was like a lot of risk in there. And then on set, we'd have to often like be like, we can't do that for whatever reason. And I have to go back and rethink something. But it was always like, there's always a thought right there. So it was very like firing constantly creatively
on set.
And then in the post process too, it was like constantly discovering things, being like this and that. So it was never like this is a thing to be executed, because we didn't have people saying you have to guarantee me it's going to do this. Tell me ahead of time how I'm going to feel. People were terrified about the little kid dying, and I'm like, we're going to make that work, And I hate being like, trust me, I know how to do it. I didn't know how to necessarily do it exactly until we knew who Kinsey was, until I knew that Tipper was doing it, and then you fit those things together. So it's like this. It's truly like. It was, and that is a fulfilling thing to me, to constantly be feeling like that. It just feels like anything's possible.
You mean the accomplishment, like afterwards?
During.
Like,
because it feels like when
there
you're
must
writing.
be other voices all around you
and
who are also suggesting things all the time, too.
Yes, yeah. And they're helpful voices in that way. There's nobody that was like, you have to do this, and then that becomes an obstacle,
right?
And then you start. That's when it starts to fall apart. But it was like, helpful suggestions, or being like, oh, we have this whole sequence we're going to do. What if we just do this or this or this? And so you're constantly in this creative zone, and that is truly like it's an antidepressant. It like really works that way. I can go off on a whole other thing about how to do that with like just any kind of creative capacity, but it's just undervalued, I think, now in terms of how to make things or look at things. And when people do want to talk about this movie in any financial way of me saying like, oh, it's not going to make money, or it's not going to, it was never part of the conversation. It's like, yes, we want it to. I want to get our investors their money back. I want to get our crew and cast who are all invested in it to get money. We all made $2,000 total on the movie. So it's like I did and the PA did. We all got paid the same until it makes money. So we would love that, but it can't be. I think about the movie as the artistic version of it and then the financial version of it. And the financial version always is a depressing answer. The creative version of it, of talking about that, is so fulfilling, and I could just do forever.
I wish you would come back and talk to us about that creative thing.
Sure, inspiring, Todd.
We should have a whole other show about that.
Just to push towards something that has nothing to do with money, which is the ultimate step. Because I think everybody who's a filmmaker in some capacity is saying to themselves, well, if I want to do this for a living, it's got to pay my bills.
Sure.
So,
but I just don't know if it's like, I don't think, artistic things are like guaranteed to be for a living, or that's where success comes from. I know that's weird, but it is.
There's truth to that. I know what you're saying, for sure. It has to be divested from commerce in some capacity. If they happen to coalesce, then great. If you have a career where you're getting paid the big dollars from the big studios, then awesome,
I think that's why, to me, it's like, sorry to jab in this AI stuff, but it really is. If movies can be made for free, then it's like, great.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that, but it goes anti, like, all these people need jobs. Yes. But like, what if we all got to make them for free?
We should talk more about that. Unfortunately,
we never even mentioned it at all. Which John Williams, who's here, John, if you're watching this, I'm sorry we didn't even bring it up once.
I was waiting for Chris to bring it up, but
we were just talking about all this other lovely stuff instead. I mean, that's the big thing, and we're over time, so we do have to wrap up.
And you guys have a screening to get.
You guys have a screening.
Nah, we don't need to do it.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, then you guys have a bar to sit at, and then go for a Q&A.
Tipper and Todd, thanks for coming and talking to us.
It was really good getting to talk to you guys.
So good getting to share some thoughts.
Yeah.
Is there any last thing you want to that you're doing, you got going on? This camera, No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, obviously, please go see this movie in a theater. It is, I swear, we're not putting it on streaming. Like, we will, I don't know, someday. It's like, if we have to, if somebody bootlegs a movie and destroys it or kills us, with it, and we have to, like, I don't know. But it's like, the ideal way we want to do this is to put it out in theaters, keep it there, maybe lock it away for a little while, and then bring it back, a few years later or something. But it's like, that's the ultimate goal, is just to have it be like something that's very fun to see with your friends and to dare each other to go to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Kids sneaking into it.
Kids sneaking in.
My younger self would love to sneak into that.
Go. Yes.
And that ratings are bullshit. So we want to call it X-rated, but it's like there's nothing enforceable about that. It's not. So it's like, but it'd be fun to, you got to sneak in past the guard. And
I mean, I feel like if your tolerance level is Hallmark movies and Lifetime movies, then maybe steer clear of this movie. But if you have,
you need this movie.
Maybe you need this movie. But
break the mold.
If you have a different, left of center sensibility, and for all the people who love gross out stuff, and all the people who love a little bit of horror, and all the people who love comics and all that kind of stuff, if you think of it as your midnight movie or whatever, I mean, you could go see this movie, because I feel like you can trust Todd I wasn't sure, and I trusted him throughout the entire screening that, he wasn't going to traumatize me for life. There's going to be some like crazy things that you're going to witness, but you won't be traumatized, severely traumatized, I promise.
Do you know when your first non-festival theatrical date is? It was in New York,
New York, yeah. IFC Center, October 17th.
October 17th.
So not far away at all.
Okay.
Been to that theater. It's nice.
That's where a lot of underground, that's when it was the Waverly.
That's
back
amazing.
in the day. That's where you could go see Eraserhead or Pink Flamingos or Female Trouble. Or
incredible.
Okay, if you're lucky
Forbidden
enough
Zone.
to live in New York City or be in New York City, go to that.
Yeah.
But you'll be moving around the country, so.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. Tipper, what do you got coming up?
Well, I'm just working on more of my own stuff.
Yes.
I'm actually trying to do a feature version of Wildcard, which wasn't ever the plan, but
you get a lot of responses that were like promoting.
Yeah, well, they were like, "Oh, this is going to be a feature, right?" Because it kind of has ambiguous ending.
Sure.
And I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." And then like a year after showing at festivals, I was like, "Oh my God, what if I did make this a feature?" If I was excited about it. So I've been working on that.
Great. That's awesome.
And then you've got your album coming out.
Yeah, but I don't know when.
Is it a Christmas album? I don't know why.
It's not. No.
I love Christmas.
Me too.
I
would like to do
you
a
can easily
Christmas
do a
release
Christmas
one
album.
time. Yeah.
I feel like that Christmas track really hit all my feels.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm proud of that song.
So good.
I think the goal with that song now is to get on Macy's Day Parade. Get on a float.
Yes.
Singing this song.
Get a inflatable Fabian float, and you could be singing it underneath that while his
That's interesting. You
His
know,
fully erect.
I think they're
penis
kind
yeah,
of
just ripping out of the hole.
different,
And the penis can come in and out.
different brands. Different.
I think you gotta
Tomato
go with
flowers.
it. You know,
Parade.
if you want to
Okay.
be successful, you got to blend the brands. You got to know how to.
Todd,
So-
is Fuck My Son a Christmas movie?
Oh, there is a Christmas tree.
Fuck
I
My
saw it in
Son
there. I was
might
like, what
be
is
a
that? I looked at
Christmas
you and I was like,
movie.
what is with
Classic.
Christmas tree
It's
in
a
there?
Christmas
What's going
movie.
on?
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
what it is.
Little jingle bells.
Because I love Christmas movies, so we have to add this one to the pantheon.
Okay,
thank you.
guys.
Yeah.
Get out there and see
Amazing.
Fuck My Son as soon as you can. Christmas.
Merry
Hopefully you have a
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Take the whole family. Actually, it'd be great for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh yeah.
Yum.
Well, thank you guys so much
Yeah,
for being on.
thanks,
guys, for
It's
coming to
really
talk.
great. Okay, we'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Our show today was recorded in studio by the good folks at Record ATX. Check them out at recordatx.com. Our theme music is produced by Jonathan Price. You can check out some of the sounds he makes with his project, The Mid-Cities, on Spotify. Follow, subscribe, and smash that like button if you see one. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.